Wow, what a slate of games we had just there. Dallas, Arizona, Philadelphia, 3-0. Whew, that's the Rangers team that I like. They show you can score, they show they can win close games, they show they can win gritty games. That's what I'm looking for, and that is the team that needs to play the rest of the year. 3 games is a lot to cover in one video, so quick recaps of all 3, and then get into man of the match, dope of the day, unsung hero, and fire into the sun of this last Philadelphia game. And then follow some storylines and injuries and preview the game against Boston. The Dallas game was close up until the third period. Igor let in some weaker goals, which was a little surprising and a little upsetting to say the least. But it's safe to say he turned it on against Arizona and definitely held it together during the Philadelphia game. So not really worried about him. The big storyline coming out of the Dallas game was Jones scoring his first NHL goal, and of course Julien Gauthier finally finding the back of the net, showing that he can sometimes, when he has a million chances, finish and do it in a spectacular way. That he splits the D, goalie comes out to meet him, takes the puck away, and then shoots on an empty net while falling in slow motion. It was great. ESPN and the whole NHL were blasting that over all forms of media. It was great. It was great to see for him. Trocheck continues to produce and show that he is better than Ryan Strome, is a top 6 forward and top 2 center. I love seeing his grit and how he plays and how he moves throughout every game. Artemi Panarin continues to prove that he is God. He is the one. I think he had 3 points on his birthday against Arizona. The Arizona game, it's kind of like you really, really, really hope that the Rangers just win because they're the better skilled team, which should happen. But you saw what happened to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Arizona ended up beating them. And also, apparently the ice sheet in Arizona is very good, one of the best in the league, according to Pierre-Luc Dubois on the Jets. But the locker room, the facilities, it's a college arena. So I could see how it would be hard for teams to go in there and feel like they're going to be playing their best. But when the ice is good, maybe that could help out, and I think it did. And clearly the Rangers were able to find out a way to win in the third, which is what they've been doing a lot lately. Last 2 games, winning it late. That's the Rangers team that we knew and loved from last year. They would win games late and almost win games that maybe they shouldn't have won last year. This year, however, they're controlling games and then now putting them away late, like in the third or in overtime. Now that Flyers game, though, oh my gosh. Talk about frustrating. I was watching it, and we hit 4 posts? That's insane. I think our expected goals for was like 5 or 6, and of course we didn't score any. We're making goalies look so good. Any goalie that plays us looks like a Vezina contender goalie. Is that because we've played Sorokin, half of Ottinger, and Hart? Maybe, but I think the Rangers' offense should be able to score. And getting shut out by Sorokin and getting stonewalled, except for maybe 1 goal against Ottinger until his replacement came in. And then Carter Hart. They're all having great years. But the Rangers need to find a way to score, and they finally did in overtime. The last minute of overtime, Chris Kreider. I was shaking. Thankfully, Shesterkin was on his A game that game, just flipping around, kind of stacking the pads here. It really was bothering me how the Flyers were playing. It seemed like they were totally content taking it to the shootout and then having it be a one-on-one man with the goalie, which I still would believe that the Rangers would have pulled it off. But it frustrates me that it seemed like they were so content. Like, oh, we'll get a point. We'll just leave it up to pretty much chance. That's the problem with the shootouts. It's like you could be dominating the whole game, then you could just have a bad shootout or not have a team that's good at shootouts and lose. They need to revise that. I hate the shootout. It's fun to see every once in a while, but when it's a close division, which the Metro is insane this year. If you look at the Devils, the Flyers starting out hot, Islanders are not bad, Rangers, Carolina, it's really just Columbus that's not that great. Even Pittsburgh and the Capitals, I could see pulling it off. Capitals are like an injury or 2 away from falling off, and Pittsburgh, They're around, but they're not. They either click or they don't, basically. And it's going to be a tough Metro. I think the Rangers will still end up top 1 or 2, at least not in the wild card, but we'll see what happens. With that said, let's get into the main program. Let's go. Man of the match. There's one true man of the match. Obviously, Chris Kreider scoring the only goal of the game with the last minute to go in overtime. It's a team win, but it also would have been a team loss if they hit so many posts, like I said. But thankfully, the heart and soul, one of the hearts and soul of the team, Chris Kreider, was able to do a nice forehand backhand move, which is honestly one of his only moves off a breakaway. If you look back and watch some of his breakaway or fast moving moves, he kind of just beats someone fast with his speed and then cuts back and goes forehand backhand into the net. Great move by him. Glad he got the win. I was beside myself watching that game, thinking that it would go to shootout and we'd somehow end up losing. But man of the match, Chris Kreider. Thank you, Chrissy K. Dope of the day. Tony DeAngelo. Tony Small D DeAngelo. God, that guy pisses so many people off. And to see him in the box, like, wah, 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 like crying, like, I got tipped, the puck got tipped. I thought if they scored on a Tony DeAngelo penalty, that would have been icing on the cake. I'm glad we pulled off the win anyway. But him in the box, him being the reason for them losing, would have been just so bliss, pure bliss. Oh my gosh. But that said, he's just a scumbag. Everyone knows it. Everyone in the Rangers fandom knows how much of a dope he is. So, dope of the day, Tony Small D DeAngelo. Unsung hero. I want to give it to 3 guys, really. Shesterkin made so many insane diving saves. That was awesome. Ryan Lindgren. Lindgren, I have said forever that I think he's going to be traded after his contract expires next year. Not because I want him to, but because he's making $3 million right now. We already have Trouba under contract and Fox under contract. Trouba at 8, Fox at 9.5 or something. They're going to sign Miller. Miller's going to come in at least 6. And I just don't know where Lindgren fits in if we can, when we have to sign all these other guys like Lafreniere, like Hedl, like I know we're bringing Othman and he's going to be on the rookie deal, but I would think that they could probably afford to move a guy like Schneider up at a lower price point than Lindgren, because I would think Lindgren would want over 4.5, and the way that he's such a warrior, I think some team would give it to him. He deserves anything that he gets if it's like $5 million, but I just don't think the Rangers can afford to pay him that. And I wouldn't be mad at him for leaving and wanting to get a bigger contract, but I do love what he does for this team and how he sells out his body, how he dives across when he made that save. He made like a goalie save. I know his brother is a goalie in Washington, I think, but I feel like he must have got that kind of goalie reflex from playing knee hockey with his brother back in the day. Love that. Love Lindgren. He blocks his shot. He sells out. He puts his body on the line every night. He's an unsung hero, for sure. And then, we'll come back to this, but Julien Gauthier. He's playing with such grit after getting sent down to the AHL, and now seeing what he's doing and choking out Travis Sanheim. Oh my gosh, that's a little kinky. I'm not gonna lie. Got to give some creds to him. He's keeping his way in this lineup. So unsung hero, Shesterkin, Lindgren, Gauthier. Now, firing to the sun. The whole poverty franchise of the Flyers. Get out of here. That whole game was you just blocking shots. It's the Torts way. It's the John Tortorella way. Kevin Hayes I like. Tony DeAngelo has skill. Still scumbag. Atkinson's out. Carter Hart is your main piece. And when he's on. And things like that could happen where, if a puck bounced in past Shesterkin, they could have won that game and just held out. But Rangers dominated the whole game. The Flyers were so annoying, which is, classic Flyers way. Respect it, but fire them into the sun. Get them out of the playoff standings, please. They are way overvalued right now. They're playing at the Torts level, that they're just blocking shots and getting bounces and winning games through pure grit, but that cannot last. People are going to continue to get injured, and they're going to fall off. Mark my words. So, finally, I think just some storylines that we can cover. Gauthier, coming in with this attitude, I think there was a rumor, it might have been confirmed, that he requested a trade in this offseason because he didn't see a clear way into the lineup, but I guess we didn't do anything about it. Maybe we didn't get the right suitors. Maybe we didn't get the right return that we were looking for, so we kept him, had him play in the AHL, and he was the first guy up when Kravtsov and Heel went down. Great to see, because he's playing really well. And we know what he is. He can drive play with his skating and his speed, and I feel like almost every game he draws a penalty because he drives to the net, but he can't finish. That was the big storyline with Gauthier. He can do everything. He can do 80% of everything except finish, that last 20%. And he finally did against Dallas, and he's showing more and more that on the bottom six for the Rangers, which, the top six, barring injury, I think shouldn't be touched. They're playing, they're rolling, even if they can't score right now. Their shot percentage is high. Their play and possession is so good. But the bottom six has, especially without Hedl and Kravtsov, has no offensive upside, really. And Gauthier is driving that play and helping out. And I love to see that, especially in the choking play against Sanheim. If he can continue to keep that grit and maybe become a fighter, I feel like if he takes fighting lessons from Reeves or from whoever, he could staple himself on our team or a different team as this almost like Tom Wilson type player. I don't know if he has as much offensive upside as Tom Wilson, but he has skill, he has hands and skill. It's just when he gets to the net, it's almost like there's a magnetic force field propelling him away from it, right? He has the speed and skill and size to be a staple bottom six guy, or middle six guy even. He just needs to find that. He's still young. But if he can develop those types of skills, like the grit, the hard to play against, fighter type skill, I could see him being an NHL player, like a stapled NHL player. Because right now he's kind of up and down. I guess we'll see what happens. But he's making it hard for me to dislike him right now, and I think the Rangers feel the same way. As far as the defensive battle, we've seen Libor Hajek come in for Jones a couple times here. I think Jones is still the clear front runner for having that spot and will continue to have that spot. There were estimates being thrown out. I feel like he'll play anywhere from 55 to 65 games and then sub in Libor as needed, barring injuries to anyone, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a rookie. You don't want to burn him out, especially if we get to the playoffs. The problem that I see is we don't really have another answer at D. Like, if we get an injury, then we're stuck with Libor somewhere stapled in the 6D. And I just think that the Rangers are definitely going to make a defensive, like a veteran defensive move. Hopefully it's someone a little bit better than Nemeth we had last year. And Braun was fine in the playoffs. He wasn't terrible. I think at the trade deadline, we'll probably acquire a veteran defenseman and we'll have a rotation, because our seventh guy, with everyone healthy, likely shouldn't be Hajek. It should probably be Jones, and have him circle and make his way in the lineup as he can. I see that happening for sure. And then as far as the injury updates, Hedl is skating. Kravtsov is skating, but in a non-contact or in like a scratch jersey. So Hedl is a possibility for tomorrow night against the Bruins. I'd love to see him come back. I don't want to rush him because it's early in the season, and we have been winning without him. He is definitely due back before Kravtsov. Kravtsov, I saw a report actually today about from Larry Brooks saying they should send him to the AHL for conditioning, and they can do that just based on the fact that he was injured, he was on IR, and they don't have to put him through waivers. They don't have to worry about anyone claiming him. He would have to accept that, though. The problem is, obviously, we saw last year he didn't accept his assignment to the AHL, and he went back to the KHL. There's no telling what he will do, but I think he could benefit from some time in the AHL. He needs to bulk up. He needs to do something. He's driving. He's a big guy, right? But we've seen over the years, like Kakko came in, big guy, but then after a year or two, he filled out. He got bigger, and skated with more confidence, worked on his skating, everything like that. I think Kravtsov could really benefit from that type of offseason, from that type of training. And I think he just needs that. And he kind of needs to find that confidence, which he would be able to do with plenty time on ice playing for the AHL. It's just if he's going to accept that or allow that to happen. I guess we'll see. Thursday night against the Bruins, we have the reverse retro jerseys, the new ones. Like I said, it's going to be that type of Liberty jersey, but with these colors. I bought one for Kreider. I tried to get one for Keandre Miller, but they didn't have them on pre-sale, so I might have to wait for my next Keandre Miller jersey. I don't have a Kreider jersey. I used to have a shirt, but I am going to rock the Kreider jersey as soon as it comes in. I think it'll be in a month or two. It was on back order. So I'm excited for that. Excited to see how the new threads look. And excited to take on a hot Boston Bruins team. I think they're like 8-2 or 9-2 in their first 10 or 11 games. They're good. They're much better than I thought, and Marchand's back now. They don't have Charlie McAvoy, but they got a tough team. And I have a bunch of Bruins buddies who are going to give it to me if the Rangers lose to them. So, let's go Rangers. Thank you for watching. Please follow, subscribe, like, comment. Check out my TikTok, Rando37. That's 3 O's, Rando37. Follow me on Twitter, Rangers Rando. And please, everyone be well. Let's go Rangers.